Have you ever pondered why schools teach about shapes and colors, but not about money and finances? It's a question that deserves a thoughtful answer. Financial education is as crucial as any other subject. It's not just about counting coins and notes. It's about understanding the value of money, how to manage it, and how it affects our lives. It's a tool for the future, a safeguard against financial pitfalls. So, without further ado, it's high time we delve into the 5 vital things you should teach your kids about money. First and foremost, the concept of earning and saving. Now, earning is the process of receiving money in exchange for goods or services. It's the fundamental building block of our financial lives. You might think of it in terms of a traditional job, but it's not just for adults. Even children can earn money by doing chores, selling lemonade, or perhaps babysitting when they're older. Earning money gives us a sense of independence and responsibility. It's a reward for our hard work and effort, a tangible return on our time and skills. And it's the starting point for all our financial decisions, because quite frankly, without earning, we wouldn't have anything to manage. Now, once we've earned our money, what do we do with it? That's where saving comes in. Saving is simply setting aside a portion of our earnings for future use. It's the cornerstone of financial stability. Think of it this way. If a child wants to buy a toy or a book, they might need to save their allowance for several weeks. This process instills patience and planning. It teaches them that immediate gratification isn't always possible, and that sometimes we have to wait and work for the things we want. In the grand scheme of things, saving is a buffer against future uncertainties, a safety net for rainy days, and the fuel for our dreams and ambitions. Remember, a penny saved is indeed a penny earned. Moving on to the second point, the power of budgeting. Just as a ship needs a compass to navigate the seas, we need a budget to navigate our finances. Budgeting is like drawing a financial map. It helps you know where your money is coming from, where it's going, and most importantly, it helps you plan where it should go in the future. Imagine you're planning a birthday party. You have a fixed amount to spend. You can't just go out and buy the biggest cake or the most expensive decorations, right? You need to plan, you need to prioritize. Maybe the cake is the most important thing, so you decide to allocate a larger portion of your budget to that. And maybe you decide that homemade decorations would be just as fun and festive, but a lot cheaper. This is what budgeting is all about. It's about making choices. It's about understanding that money is a finite resource and that we need to make the most out of what we have. It's about deciding what's important to us and then directing our money towards those things. Budgeting doesn't mean you can't have fun or spend money on things you enjoy. It just means you're doing so in a planned and controlled way. You're deciding where your money goes, instead of wondering where it went. With a good budget, you're the master of your money, not the other way around. The third point to teach is the understanding of value. Value, my dear friends, is a concept that is often misunderstood. It's not about how much something costs, but rather it's about the worth you get from it. Let's consider this. You walk into a toy store with your child. There's a cheap toy that might break within a week, and there's a slightly more expensive toy that's built to last. Which one is more valuable? You see, it's easy to be enticed by the lower price tag of the cheaper toy. But if it breaks within a week, you'll have to buy another one. Over time, you might end up spending more on replacing the cheap toy than you would have if you'd bought the more expensive, durable toy in the first place. This is the difference between price and value. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. A product's value is not always reflected in its price. Sometimes a higher price might mean better quality, durability, or functionality, making it a more valuable purchase in the long run. Now, this doesn't mean we should always opt for the most expensive items. It's about understanding that buying something expensive doesn't always mean it's valuable. And buying something cheap doesn't always mean it's a bargain. Teaching kids to understand value over cost will help them make wiser purchases in the future. Fourth on the list is the concept of credit. Now, what is credit? It's essentially a trust system. It's when someone lends you something, often money, with the expectation that you'll return it, usually with a little extra, known as interest. This can be a powerful tool when used responsibly, but can cause problems if misused. Let's imagine a scenario. Suppose you borrow a book from the library. You get to enjoy the book at home for a while, but there's an agreement that you'll return it by a certain date. If you return it on time, you've shown that you're trustworthy, and the library will be happy to lend you more books in the future. But if you don't return it on time, there might be a fine. And if this happens often, the library might stop lending you books. This is quite similar to how credit works. When you borrow money and pay it back on time, you build a good credit history. This can open up opportunities for you in the future, like getting a loan for a car or a house. But if you don't pay back on time, there are consequences. You could end up paying more in interest, damage your credit score, and make it harder to borrow in the future. So it's essential to understand that borrowing is not bad, but it needs to be done responsibly. Understanding the concept of credit early on can pave the way for responsible financial decisions in the future. Lastly, but certainly not least, the power of giving. It's crucial to instill in youngsters the value of sharing and generosity. It's not merely about helping others, it's a lesson in empathy and gratitude, two invaluable life skills. When we give, we understand the struggles of others, fostering compassion. Moreover, we learn to appreciate what we have, cultivating gratitude. Let's teach them that richness isn't just about accumulating wealth, but also about enriching others' lives. Remember, the joy of giving can be the greatest wealth your child can possess. So, those were the 5 essential things to teach your kids about money. Let's recap. First, earning and saving, the basic building blocks of financial literacy. Next, budgeting to handle their finances responsibly. Third, understanding value to make informed decisions. Fourth, the concept of credit to understand borrowing and repaying. And finally, the power of giving to instill a sense of generosity and empathy. Equip your children with these lessons, and you'll be setting them on a path to financial wisdom and independence.